If your manual transmission grinds when you select one particular gear, especially second, but the other gears still shift normally, the synchronizer for that gear should be high on the suspect list. The key clue is the pattern. A worn synchronizer often causes resistance, a crunch, or grinding in the same gear during an upshift, a downshift, or both. But if several gears grind, especially with the clutch pedal fully pressed, don't condemn the Synchros yet. A clutch that is still dragging can create almost the same sound by keeping the transmission input shaft spinning when it should be released. So what is a synchronizer actually doing? The gears inside most modern manual transmissions are already meshed together while you're driving, but the selected gear and the transmission shaft may be rotating at different speeds. Before that gear can be locked to the shaft, those speeds have to match. The synchronizer uses friction to speed up or slow down the rotating parts until their speeds are close enough for the engagement teeth to connect cleanly. Without that speed matching step, every shift would require much more precise driver-controlled rev matching to avoid gear clash. The synchronizer is an assembly, not just one ring. The hub is splined permanently to the transmission shaft, so it rotates with that shaft. Around the hub is a sliding sleeve, sometimes called a slider, which moves sideways when you shift. Small synchronizer keys, inserts, or struts help transfer that movement toward the blocker ring. And the blocker ring, also called a bulk ring, contains the friction surface that presses against a matching cone on the gear. Traditional rings may use brass or bronze friction surfaces, while other designs use sintered materials, carbon friction linings, or multiple cones. Here's what happens during an actual shift. You move the lever, the shift fork pushes the sleeve toward the next gear, and the sleeve acts through the keys or inserts to load the blocker ring against the gear's cone. Friction at that cone changes the relative speed of the gear and shaft. While the speeds are still different, the blocker ring is deliberately positioned, so the sleeve cannot simply crash straight into the gear. Once the speeds synchronize, the teeth line up, the sleeve passes over the engagement teeth, and the selected gear becomes mechanically locked to the shaft. The classic early warning is that one gear becomes harder to select than the others. Second gear is a common place for drivers to notice this, although it is not universal to every transmission. The first to second shift happens constantly in normal driving, and it can require the synchronizer to correct a significant rotational speed difference. Repeated synchronization means repeated friction and heating at the cone surfaces. Some transmissions even use higher capacity double or triple cone synchronizers on first and second because those shifts can demand more synchronization capacity. The important distinction is that the synchronizer ring is matching speed during the shift. It is not the component carrying all the engine's driving torque once the shift is completed. Before a synchronizer starts grinding badly, it often becomes notchy. You push the lever toward the gear and feel a pause, extra resistance, or the sensation that the lever doesn't want to go in until you wait a fraction of a second. One possible cause is wear on the blocker ring's friction surface or on the matching cone of the gear. As those surfaces wear or become damaged, they may not generate the required synchronizing action as effectively. Worn or rounded teeth on the blocker ring, sleeve, or gear can also hurt shift quality. A mechanic inspecting the transmission internally looks for exactly these kinds of wear patterns. Grinding is more serious because the engagement teeth are trying to meet while their speeds still differ. But here's the diagnostic trap. Grinding does not automatically mean the synchronizer is bad. If one synchronized gear repeatedly grinds while the others behave normally, a gear-specific synchronizer problem becomes more likely. If several gears are difficult with the engine running, or the car tries to creep even though the clutch pedal is fully down, then suspect the clutch drag. Another useful clue is reverse on transmissions where reverse is not synchronized. A dragging clutch can keep the input shaft spinning and make reverse clash too. If shifting is easy with the engine off but difficult with it running, the clutch release system deserves close inspection. Another symptom often blamed on a bad synchro is the transmission popping back out of gear. That needs an important correction. The blocker ring's main job is synchronization before engagement. Keeping a gear fully engaged depends on the sleeve and gear engagement teeth, the shift fork moving everything fully into position, the selector mechanism, and its detents. The spring-loaded features that help hold the shift rail in the selected position. Worn or bent shift forks, worn engagement or dog teeth, detent problems, linkage issues, or incomplete engagement can all allow a transmission to jump out of gear. Synchro assemblies may show related damage, but the blocker ring itself is not normally the first explanation for gear pop-out. Transmission fluid matters much more to synchronizer operation than many drivers realize because the Synchro needs a very specific balance of lubrication and friction. Too much friction would create excessive wear, but a fluid that makes the cone surfaces too slippery can slow synchronization and hurt shift quality. You'll often hear this reduced to GL4 good, GL5 bad, but that's too simplistic. Many conventional synchronized transmissions specify GL4 type manual transmission lubricants, while some designs legitimately require other fluids, including certain GL5 formulations or even ATF. Some differential-oriented GL5 oils also contain friction modifiers or additive packages that are unsuitable for particular synchronizer materials. The safe rule is simple. Use the exact viscosity and fluid specification required by the transmission manufacturer, not merely any bottle-labeled gear oil. Temperature can change how the same transmission feels. Gear oil becomes more viscous, effectively thicker, when it is cold, so the synchronizer, gears and shafts have to move through more fluid drag. That's why some perfectly serviceable manual transmissions feel stiffer or more reluctant during the first few shifts on a freezing morning and improve once the oil warms. Mild cold, only balking or extra resistance is not the same thing as proven synchronizer damage. But repeated, obvious tooth grinding should never simply be dismissed as normal because it's cold. If the problem is severe, new, or remains after the gearbox warms up, it deserves diagnosis. Driving technique also changes how much work the synchronizers have to do. Rushing the lever into the next gear before the synchronizer has finished matching speed forces the friction surfaces to work harder and can lead to gear clash. Poorly executed downshifts can create a large speed difference for the Synchro to correct. Accurate rev matching reduces that difference. Skipping gears is not automatically harmful either. The important factors are matching the engine speed appropriately and allowing the synchronizer enough time instead of forcing the lever. And riding the clutch is mainly a clutch wear problem, but if the clutch is not fully disengaged during a shift, residual torque or shaft rotation can make clean synchronization more difficult. Smooth, deliberate shifts are much kinder to the entire system. Diagnosis starts before anybody opens the gearbox. A technician looks for a repeatable pattern, which gear is affected, whether it happens on upshifts, downshifts or both, whether temperature changes it, and whether other gears behave normally. The clutch release system and external shift linkage should be checked because either can imitate internal transmission trouble. Draining the fluid may reveal abnormal metallic contamination, although that alone does not identify a synchronizer. Different transmission parts share different materials, and some non-ferrous synchro debris will not be captured by a magnetic drain plug. If the transmission is disassembled, the blocker ring clearance, cone surfaces, sleeve, hub, keys, engagement teeth and shift forks can then be inspected directly for wear or damage. And this is why a worn synchronizer is not usually a quick external repair. The synchronizer components live inside the transmission on the shafts with the gears, so replacing worn blocker rings, hubs, sleeves, keys, damaged engagement teeth or related parts normally means removing and disassembling the transmission. Once it's apart, a competent rebuilder also checks the mating components instead of replacing one ring and ignoring the wear that caused the problem. The practical lesson is to act while the symptoms are still mild. Verify the clutch is releasing properly. Use exactly the specified fluid, don't force reluctant shifts, and investigate a gear that repeatedly grinds. Correct fluid and good technique cost very little compared with a gearbox teardown.